welcome to another edition of Simply Fit. I'm your host, Sandy White, your number one health and wellness cheerleader. And on today's segment, we're going to be talking about empowering you through movement. But before we do that, I do want to thank WYTV7 Christian Broadcasters Network for allowing Simply Fit to be on their platform for the third season. Please go to wytv7.org and just look at all of the wonderful things that we're doing. And while you're on the site, click the donate button. So with that being said, I do want to jump into introducing our guest today. Her name is Emily Webb. She is a certified instructor of yoga, gravity yoga, and Krav Maga. And I think I said that wrong, but she'll correct me once she comes on. That's a form of self-defense and street fighting. She has a passion to empower people through health and movement. And I love that. She wants to inspire individuals to not only feel great in their body, but also in their heart and mind. She's the creator of Freedom Body Training, in which she's going to go over that with you guys more when she jumps on. And she's also gonna share with you guys her goals that empower people with a unique combination of body, knowledge, functional mobility, nutrition, the mental fortitude to make their body care a top priority. And I tell you guys that all the time, so that you can feel good for decades to come. And as Emily says, you only get one body. So let's jump into today's segment, empowering you through movement. How are you today, Emily?
Wonderful. Thank you so much for having me on your show. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. So I'm going to jump right into it because I know I botched up one of your trainings. So how do you enunciate it?
It's Krav Maga. Krav Maga. Yeah.
Okay, so tell us about Krav Maga, now that I've got that correct.
Okay, great. Well, just so you know, the words, it's Hebrew for contact combat. So it's a no-nonsense street fighting and self-defense system. And it was originally made for the Israeli army, but now they have different versions. So they have a civilian version, police version, military version, etc. So I do the civilian version, and and it changed my life.
Okay, so I'm looking at you and I'm telling you, from first impressions, you're thinking supermodel and all of this dainty stuff, and you're talking about kicking somebody's butt. So tell us how in the world you got into that.
Yes, well, it's interesting. It found me, and we're gonna just jump in. You ready? Because yes. I had been attacked more than once and had a lot of issues brewing up in my life. And I was actually really, it's funny, it's so long ago, I'm a completely different person now, but I was walking around in anxiety and fear 24/7. And I had a lot of OCD behaviors, trying to keep myself feeling safe. And I really, really needed to find a way to empower myself. And Krav Maga found me. I have no idea how I found it, but I became an avid student. And between doing my own personal growth work and Krav Maga, my life completely changed. So I'm a huge advocate of empowering our bodies through movement because it's so effective.
I love that. And what I love also about the fact is you took action. You decided not to be a victim, in your mind, your body, and walking around in your environment. And you found, well, you said Krav Maga. Did I say that right that time? Yeah. Okay. It found you, but that's a lot of people don't seek out what they don't ask the right questions so they can get where they need to be. So that's awesome. But let me ask you, what are your aha moments from taking this training? And because you teach it too, right?
Mm-hmm, I do.
You're teaching. So what's the aha moment for both spectrums, teaching and actually learning it?
Right. As a student, there's so many aha moments. And I want to say, just backtracking for a moment, it wasn't easy. Like, I spent a lot of time crying in the bathroom, right? But I kept at it because I knew I needed it. And, the aha moments for me are around finding my voice, knowing that I had no voice, but knowing that it's okay. And not only okay, it's necessary to speak up for myself and use my voice. And then that I have power in my body. I mean, I had never hit anything before I came there. And that we have a switch. So what happens when people get under stress or there's like an attack or a traumatic event, we have different reactions. We have fight and flight, which most people know about. We also have something called freezing and something called fawning. And so Krav Maga really creates a switch so that the freeze time gets shorter and shorter. So what I realize is that I have a switch in my psyche that says I'm worth protecting. And if somebody's gonna come after my wallet, whatever, I'm not fighting for it. But if somebody's gonna come after me or somebody I'm with, somebody I love, that I have a switch, and that switch is the tigress, the mama bear, and that's worthy of protection.
So let me piggyback off of that, because I'm a mama and I got two, and I probably need to take your class because I know a couple of times my kids have been bullied, and that's not the time to go Krav Maga on anybody. But I am like, okay, I need something to not only assist with me not feeling the way I'm feeling because someone's, bullying my children, but a really good way that you can show somebody else. And so one of the things you mentioned, and I'm going to ask you two questions, there's a switch for protecting. So yes, I want to protect my children, but not going, Captain Kirk on somebody because they're bullying your kid. There's a way not to be so aggressive. So how do you know, or what were the keys that you were taught to know where's that switch where this is worth protecting, this one is not? Like you said, your life, your wallet, it's a no-brainer. My life, take the wallet. How did you go about that?
Well, this is an interesting question because I think it's actually a little more nuanced. First off, having that switch that says, I will fight for my life, which before I did not have, and many people, hundreds of people I've seen that do not have the self-worth innate that says, I will fight for myself. But once that is there, then it's like no one messes with you anymore, right? Because you're not a target anymore. So I find actually when we get that aggression, that power in our body, that we can actually relax more into openness, more into love, more into compassion, because there is a boundary. And so for me, Krav Maga is not just about groin kicks and punches, though we do a lot of that. It starts way before that. Awareness of your situation, being able to de-escalate. The founder of Krav Maga actually said, so we may all walk in peace, right? Okay. So knowing that you have the ability to punch and hit and you feel the power inside your body, knowing that you're worth protecting, and then implementing the things like awareness and negotiation skills and all that, the whole package keeps you safe. So I don't want to fight anyone, right? I'm really not interested in it. I'm actually quite a sweet and kind human being. But if somebody tries to attack me, I know something. And quite honestly, I'm no longer feeling danger because I walk around with a different energy about me. And people don't try to take advantage of me anymore.
And you know what? I was trying to ask you that because you said energy. So it's a swag. It's the way, it's the energy that comes out like, she's cute, but she looks like she can take me. So I'm gonna move on to and so it sounds it literally sounds like the energy that you're emitting out in the atmosphere. Is that, I mean, outside of knowing how to use the tools as a weapon properly to make sure you're safe, but you also mentioned awareness, being aware of your environment and negotiating skills. You're good, because I don't want to negotiate with you. But however, there are times, it's bringing up to this question, negotiating, where yes, you know how to do Krav Maga, but if someone has a weapon outside of their body, that's the time for negotiation. Am I on the right track, or just negotiating period, whether they have a weapon outside of their body, just period? Is that what you're saying?
Life is so complicated. It's not so cut and dry. If somebody has a weapon, oftentimes they're looking to control, They're looking to control the situation. Hey, so let's just learn something here, because, and then we can get back to your bullying question too. But if somebody puts a gun or brandishes a knife at me, I'm like, the first thing I'm gonna do, hands are up. Hey man, what do you want? This is such an important question, because if they want me or they want my wallet, okay, so say you want my bag, my money, I'm gonna give you all my money. I'm gonna get my bag. So I tell them what I'm doing, right? And then I grab my bag, and I usually will try to carry things in separate places if I can. And then I'm gonna throw my bag away from me and away from them and away from one last thing, which might, I want people to think a little bit, your exit, right? So away from me, away from the attacker, and away from the exit. And then you watch their eyes. Are their eyes and their body going to the bag? If that's the case, you're good. We call that Nike defense. You run, right? Now, I decided not to fight for my bag, but maybe there's a time and a place where I will. And then voice, call 911. You're gonna get loud, you're gonna get fierce, because nobody wants to deal with a crazy person who's screaming in the street, right? And
right.
you know, and if I fight, that's my decision for whatever reason, I'm gonna go all in, like just like a honey badger. If you know, that's a sweet name, but it's not a sweet animal. It's they're crazy and they're fierce. So the bullying thing, it's like, I have compassion and I'm going to open and be like, you know what? And I also have boundaries. And when you cross those boundaries, it's like, I'm worthy of protecting. My children are worthy of protecting. No need to go all Krav Maga on them. But the boundaries is a huge part of our self-defense, because if people don't feel like they can walk all over you, then they're not going to.
Absolutely. Hey guys, I have a lot more that I want to ask Emily, but we're going to take a quick commercial break and then we're going to come right back with Miss Honey Badger. That one was a good one.
Swing Into Their Dreams Foundation presents the golf tournament of the year, raising scholarships for aspiring National Golf Club in Milton, Georgia. The inaugural HBCU Swing Into Their Dreams Charity Golf Tournament. Registration and gourmet continental breakfast begins at 8 a.m. and shotgun at 10 a.m. Award reception follows. Come enjoy a day of jazz, mimosa, cigars, cash bar, silent auction, and more. For more information, contact 770-686-71 Their Dreams. Don't miss it.
And I hope you enjoyed our commercial break from Swing Into the Dream. So we're back with Miss Emily, and I have a quick question that I'm piggybacking off of her before we did the commercial break. So Krav Maga is a it sounds extremely intensive, and it has to be if you're protecting yourself. So what are the practices that you put into place? Because if you have that aggressive energy going 24/7, I think it's going to be kind of hard to turn off. So what are the things that you're doing to balance out not being so aggressive?
Yes, indeed. Because yeah, it's not a great place to be residing in all the time.
No.
I love to dance. So I dance Argentine tango. I also teach dance, and a dance called fusion. And it's all about connection. It's all about feeling. I also teach yoga and practice yoga regularly. Again, like moving into the body. So you think about like that power, hard energy, and then coming back into the softness, because really that's where I want to reside. Right. I don't want to be in like all the time. I'm like, I want to love everybody and I want to feel good.
So how have all of your different movement styles served you, and how can you maybe eloquently express that to someone else that's having a challenging time, kind of de-escalating their own self from, having a class like that?
Excellent. When I see people that are, especially people that have undergone trauma, and I'm going to say trauma is a very wide thing that almost all of us have experienced. Maybe it was a car wreck, family member, abuse, it doesn't matter. Operation, right? You cut open the body, that's traumatic. So if we hold on to trauma and we freeze that in our body, then we end up getting chronic holding patterns, we get chronic tension. And for myself, I experienced it in the way, like when I move certain body parts, I couldn't move them. Like I couldn't, it brought up too much emotion. So I'm starting to freeze down. And then that snowballs. Not only is it uncomfortable and our new norm becomes tension, but it affects our general health, right? It affects our breath. It affects the way that our immune system can work. So the Krav Maga gave me the feeling of internal power. It taught me how to use my body and my muscles. Does not matter how big you are. I'm not a huge person. It taught me how to feel powerful and how to use my body. And then the dance and the yoga and these softer practices taught me to love the feeling of moving in my body, right? And before that, it was like, I want to do everything I could to get out of my body because the feelings were not comfortable, right? I was in fear and anxiety. So the whole package together has really, like, I say, like, I have a new body. It's not, I'm a new everything. I'm not the same person I used to be. And the movement was a huge part of that.
And that, you know what, and dealing with COVID and for the length of time that we've been dealing with it is so important. So I know at one point you had a brick and mortar, now you're online. So how has that shift affected you, or has it increased the way you've been able to not only serve yourself, but others?
Well, it's a catch-22 for us all. Like there's advantages and disadvantages, but I like to look towards the advantage, like what do we have here? And that advantage is that I've met you, right? And I'm on this show, and that we are able to get, it's forced us to be into an online world. So now I have clients all over the world, right? I have people tuning in from Australia and Europe to my sessions. And I'm like, this is amazing, right? Whereas before I did do some traveling to teach, but it was much more local.
So and I'm trying to make sure I say this correctly, Krav Maga, is that the only thing that you're teaching online? And I agree with you, being in COVID has allowed us to touch individuals in different parts of the world. And before you answer that, you're not in New York City, are you?
No.
Oh, okay. No, I was just wondering. So being able to teach online and getting a plethora of individuals that are in different countries, different parts of the world, how are you able to teach a plethora of different health practices, or you just have a particular one that you like to stick with?
Great question. So I'm teaching online group classes that are movement, like yoga and targeted flexibility training, movement training, not necessarily dance, but balance and functional mobility, as well as targeted flexibility. And right now, for example, I'm teaching a 2-week workshop on posture. And then I work with people individually. I do have some of my old students taking Krav Maga with me online. So if you're a family and you have partners there, that's something that is totally possible. And I also have developed a 3-month-long coaching program that is really a whole body health, looking into your gut health, your movement, your diet, and all of that. So I'm teaching a variety of things online.
Cool. So real quick, can you, are there any particular classes that you want to highlight, and how folks can sign up for some of these classes? Do you want to do that now? And I know you have an event coming up, so I definitely want you to share that information as well. So you can jump on whichever one you want, because you've got a lot of stuff going on. And guys, I'm telling you, go to her website because she knows what she's doing. So tell everybody what you want to highlight, and then just give them a website so they can go to it. Perfect. And then talk about your upcoming event.
Perfect. So the website is freedombodytraining.com, and you can send me a message there. I'll be happy to talk with you more about any of the things that I'm doing. Again, that's simply-bodytraining.com. And then, yes, we have an event coming up where Sandy is also going to be one of our speakers. So it's very exciting. It's called Falling in Love with You. And it's all about maximizing your whole body health and your happiness. So we're really looking, and I'd like to look at the whole being, right? If we have muscles, but we don't have a good digestive system, we're not really healthy. If we are happy, but our body is hurting, then it's also not a whole system. So we look at the whole system, body, mind, and spirit, and it's called Falling in Love with You. It's over the Valentine's Day weekend, and I can give the URL if you want.
Yep.
Great. It's loveyouevent.com and /Sandy.
Oh,
yeah,
that's cute. All right, one more time. Tell them the URL one more time, and then the address, the URL. So if they want to do both of them, they have, outside classes and then your event. One more time, and then I'm going to ask you a couple more questions.
All right, freedombodytraining.com and loveyouevent.com /Sandy, SANDY.
So I heard you say one of the classes that you're doing right now, and I want you to piggyback on the length of time again, is the posture one, because right now with COVID, folks are sitting too long and they've got challenges going on. Go over that one real quick, because we're at the we're almost out of time, so I want to highlight as much stuff as possible that'll help folks during COVID. So that's the posture one you mentioned.
Yes, I mean, posture is so important, and it's great because it ties back into our movement as well. So right now I'm teaching the classes live, but they're all recorded, and I make a package that will be a standalone package that people can go to anytime and get those classes. So when we're sitting all day, like at our desks, at our computers, this is a big issue. Not only does it affect your posture, which then affects your health and your digestion, your energy levels, all of these things. The posture also affects your confidence. So when we have poor posture, not only are we hurting our bodies, but then when we go out to the store, we don't have that swagger, as you were saying before, that confident, upright feeling that people look at us with. So yeah, posture is a huge deal. And right now is like the worst time ever, right? Somebody was just telling me that one of their clients used to walk 10,000 steps a day. And during COVID, they're at 300, which is just amazing. So we actually don't realize how much we used to walk around, going into the car, the grocery store, all these things. So it's super important to take this time to really look, like, just because we can't necessarily go to the gym and everything, it's like we can do things at home, and to put in perspective how much sitting we're doing. That sitting is killing us. It's disrupting your entire body. So we got to get up. We got to take a break every once in a while, move around, get onto online classes. Everybody and their sisters got their classes online now. So go find what works for you and get your body moving. Reset the posture. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, I am telling you, because that sitting is, and then the games if you have kids. So let me ask you this: do you just work with adults, or do you have classes or things that you could tell the parents to help their children? Because I'm telling you right now, when you see kids, you see the electronics in their hand, and it's just like, move, people. So anything you can do to help us mommies with these children?
You know that as well as I do. So I don't have children specific classes, but I would just say, like, have fun with your kids, like get up and get everybody moving, right? And I do teach Krav Maga. I've done teen workshops over the years. I love working with teens. I have a family right now taking classes with me with their 14-year-old daughter, which is a huge gift that they're doing together. And honestly, we change our children's lives when we empower them, when we empower their voice, when we empower their body, and they're mimicking and modeling us as adults and their parents. And so when the parents stand in and learn also, it's hugely transformational. And it's one of my favorite things I do, because I know that person, the young one that I'm working with, when they go to college or they go off into the real world, is just dramatically safer. Like they're not going to, the likelihood of them being attacked is so small. And yet, sadly, date rape, attacks on college campuses, all those things are such a huge issue for young people. So yeah, move with your kids, empower them.
Amen. So real quick, one more time, tell people how they can reach you.
freedombodytraining.com. The contact is there. I would love to answer your questions. You can also sign up for a free one-on-one discovery call where if you have issues or want to create a plan to help move you forward, I'm totally excited to talk to you.
All righty. So guys, this has been a wonderful a half hour with Miss Emily Webb, and I'm telling you, go check out her site. I'm your host, Sandy White, your #1 health and wellness cheerleader. This has been another edition of Simply-FITT. We broadcast out of Upper Marlboro, Maryland, every Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Check your time zone, and we'll see you next week. Bye, guys. Thanks for being on, Emily.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a pleasure.